We are back again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the channel again. In this video, I am going to be reacting to a video. It's a podcast. It was Kagiso, the guy who is on YouTube. The channel is King Said So. That guy, you know this guy, right? So he will be actually being interviewed on a podcast talking about politics. Not interviewed, but it's a political thing, you know. They are talking about politics and stuff like that. And because also the host is going to say things also, so I'm going to put both of them and react to what they were actually saying. Now, the channel Mr. King Said So was in, it is called Political Incorrect. So you can go and check that out if you want to check the content. Okay? Now, let's take a look. Now, guys, before I go on, please, let me say this. Every time I talk about black people coming together and I state maybe certain things about certain things in the black people, it doesn't mean I am against black people coming together, okay? But I am not naive to think that when we all call of saying let black people come together, and then we think that is just going to happen, you know, just happen easily like that. No, okay? I'm not naive to that reality, and I know that it is something that is very, and when I say very, guys, I mean very difficult, and I will tell you why. But let's just go on and listen to the guys, and then I will react and pause there and there, okay? We are going to start from 17 minutes. Let's just go.
To vote for him. People don't want him. There are a lot of podcasts that I've done. They say, look at EFF. These guys are the best political party. I mean, Julius Malema's story is one of the best narrated, but a ceiling is reached. No matter how much we love him, people don't want to vote for him.
Rebranding is needed for the EFF. I did a video this morning, 2 a.m. about the top 6. The rebranding of the direction of the EFF needs to happen. But I don't want, maybe I've got a soft spot for Julius. I don't want him to be totally out of that. I see how it works for the MK. I'm not sure if it will work for the EFF.
Because they
EFF,
make democracy their central thing.
No. The EFF has demigod Julius. They don't question him. He can say something and come out and say, no, man, yesterday I was making a political statement, man. That was a political engagement, and they forgive. You understand?
The same happens to Zuma.
Yeah, no, but Zuma, I think Zuma ended to be a demigod. He ended, I think he's old. It's like, Ubaba did not mean it like that.
Yes,
yes. Actually, what Baba was saying was this one. So, for Julius, he should tread carefully than Jacob Zuma, because people are not that forgiving to him. You understand? People, South Africans are icon. One thing I've noticed with my political journey in terms of Pan-Africanism, South Africans don't want Pan-Africanism.
South Africans actually do not love unity.
Yes.
Amongst themselves. They will pretend they do.
Yeah, no.
They do not. And I'll give another example while we're still...
South Africans don't like Pan-African. Then the host says South African actually, they don't like or love unity. Okay? Now, listen, guys, whether we like it or not, that is why in my previous video I said to you guys that those who want to bring together the black people, gather whomever wants to be gathered, right? Put together those people that want to be put together. Gather the black people that you want to gather. And those black people who want to be gathered, gather those. Because you will never, and I repeat, you will never gather everyone. Never. It will never happen. Okay? Why? Because if you say black people, okay? For me, I think if you want to say, we want to bring black people together, I believe that you should say, we want to bring black people who are willing to be gathered, or black people who are willing to come together, okay? Let's bring those people and let's see how much can we gather. Instead of you just putting a blanket thing and say, let's gather black people, because I can tell you right now, not every black person, not every black person wants to be gathered, right? There are those black people who are comfortable where they are. They are okay, especially those who benefited after 224, after 1994. They are okay. Their things are going well. They don't want to be interrupted. They don't want to be, disturbed. That is why, in most cases, when you bring this thing of black people coming together, blah, 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 they will push back. And the reason why they push back, it is because where they are, it is okay. It is good. Okay? They don't want to be disturbed. They don't want to be interrupted. Why do you want to change these things? Why do you want to make us now frustrated? Why? Because they are okay where they are. Now he says that black people don't like Pan-African. Okay? Whether you like it or not everyone loves Pan-Africanism. Trust me. Not everyone loves Pan-Africanism. Okay? Not everyone wants black people to be together. Not everyone. And I'm not talking about white people. I'm talking about black people in the black people community. There are those who don't want the unity. There are those who don't want to be Pan-African. Okay? And that is why, guys, I've always said, if you want to recruit me, for example, to your Pan-African, convince me first before I can become a Pan-African, before I can subscribe to your Pan-Africanism. Convince me. Don't just say, no, join the Pan-Africanism or join the black people unity, what. You need to convince me, why do you want me to join the black people? Now, when it comes to the MK party, and I can even say maybe the EFF, okay? Every time I believe that we all know this, every time when they, especially the EFF, because they've been there for some time, advocating for black people and all of that, okay? They have always said the reason why we want black people to come together, it is because we want to get rid of the status quo. We want to get rid of the things that are not benefiting the majority of South Africans. Right? And you must also understand, guys, whether you like it or not, even politicians, somewhere, somehow, there is somewhere where they actually benefit in the same status quo. Okay? It's never going to be that easy every time to always talk against black people, for black people, and always talk, to say, yeah, black people must come together. We want to get rid of 1, 2, 3. We want to get rid of this, of that. Because sometimes when you do, when you do that, it ends up coming to you. It ends up actually firing to you. And then that is why sometimes I believe you find other people, they were talking about this, they no longer to talk about it. They were talking about this, they stopped. That is because perhaps, a person was realizing, my bread will be taken away. Why do you think all these parties that are being fight against, for example, the EFF, their members being taken away? It is because they know that if their members are taken away, guys, and the EFF then goes down and then it dies, the bread on the table is taken away. You see? So you cannot allow any person to take your bread away from you. No one can do that. Your kids, your family, your wife, your whatever, yourself even. No one would allow that. So all I am saying, guys, when it comes to what they just said, we must all accept that not all black people will want to be united. Not all black people will want to be subscribed as Pan-African. They don't like that, so some of them. They don't want it. They are okay when they are mixed. Just like the ANC. The ANC, they've always actually echoed this thing of saying, we are non-racial. That means we don't look at the color. We don't say we are only blacks, We put everyone together. If you are white, you have to be there. If you are Indian, you have to be there. We don't say because you are, and all of that. Now, let's go continue. But I like the way he said it. And I like the way Kagiso actually usually do things. He is honest. And guys, he is very honest, right? He is honest that even if I'm a Pan-African, I am aware that not every person will want to be a Pan-African. I can advocate for it, I can, do whatever, but I am aware that not everyone wants to be Pan-African. And the host also, I agree with him. Not everyone wants unity. Anyway, let's continue.
Discussing EFF. When I can, it pains me a lot. And I said a lot on the podcast, look, Julius Malema is called a dictator. He's a hard worker. They call him a dictator. You know why they call him a dictator? Because he's a strong leader. Yes, he's a strong leader. They say, you know how long? When we went into 94 elections, SACDP was there, led by Kenneth Mish. Zolinzi Mavavi led COSATU for many years, and it's a democratic entity. He led it for many years. There are a lot of parties, I mean, UDM.
The question would be, guys, what is a dictator? What is a dictator? Right? Let me maybe check for you guys, because, I think sometimes there are people who say things, no? And in most cases, instead of us looking at that thing without being biased, because you like the person, because you love the person, when they describe a person, we always dismiss it and say, but it's not a dictator. But what is a dictator, though? What exactly is a dictator? Because that is also very important for you to check. If a term is used, a dictator, what is a dictator? Dictator. All right, let me just say dictatorship, right? Just to check the meaning of it, because this thing of just speaking words and we don't actually get the understanding. Dictatorship is a government or a social situation where one person makes all the rules and decisions without input from anyone else. All right? Now, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to submit. Now, we really don't know, because we have never had anyone, I repeat, we have never had anyone from the EFF. We have never had anyone from who came out of the EFF. Maybe I missed it, okay? But I've never had anyone from the EFF or coming from the EFF saying Malema is a dictator, okay? That means Malema makes decisions without consulting anyone, okay? Because that's what a dictator is. A dictator is a person who is a loner in a way, okay, not a loner, who is leading an organization or government, okay? Who is making decisions alone without consulting any person, okay? And I don't think that Malema actually does that. I think Malema does consult, with his people, with the members and everything. Because in any case, I don't think he would want to have a top 6. I don't think he would want to have a leadership, And I don't think, unless maybe there are other people who like, if he is a dictator, let's just say maybe it happens that he is a dictator, okay? I don't think that will be sort of like a bad thing, as long as the people that are working with him, they love it. Okay, if you still are under a dictator, a leader, and you're still under them, okay, it means it is okay with you, okay, you don't have a problem with it. And I repeat again, I have never had anyone who's been in the EFF complaining about dictatorship. Those people who have experienced Malema, Mr. Malema, okay, I have never heard them said that the reason why they are going out is because he's a dictator. The only person I heard was, he didn't even say that he is a dictator. It was Mr. Mwetama. When he said that, there was a time where, okay, let me allow him to speak for himself.
And you declined nomination. What was the reason behind declining nomination? Then after that, obviously, you got expelled and so on.
Yeah. No, conferences are a fraud. Political conferences are a fraud.
Is it?
It's a big fraud.
But it's a democratic process.
Not a democratic process whatsoever. In that conference, for instance, Julius, for some reason, decided to wear white and the long sleeve.
I can see that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he was running a choir. If he doesn't want a candidate, he keeps his hand down. If he wants a candidate, he raises his hand.
Oh.
And the whole conference does as he wishes.
Sure.
So he was conducting that conference as a choir from the front.
That was a signal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And a very good comrade who I know have sacrificed, mortgaged his house to pay for some EFF programs.
Yes.
Julius left his hand down and that comrade fell.
Wow.
And for me, that was like, I can't be part of this.
So I really don't know, guys, whether people, when they use terms, sometimes I have noticed now, that is why people say politics is a dirty game. Okay, it's dirty. It's sort of like sometimes evil. Okay, because people, they can make you look in a certain way just to get rid of you, just to make you look bad. Okay, so it is very important, guys, that every time a person use a word or use a term, just check it out. What does it mean? You know, because under the definition, or according to the definition I've read, I don't think that Malema is a dictator. She is a dictator because I don't think he makes the decisions and go. You know, that is why even when Floyd actually left, when Mr. Floyd left the EFF, Malema did say, Mr. Malema said, I went to him and spoke to him and asked him, what is the problem, my guy? What did I do to you? You know, to show that he is a person, whenever things are happening, decision has to be made, and then, you know, and maybe the question would be, when they are discussing and they are about to make decisions, maybe, just maybe, Malema sometimes, or Mr. Malema sometimes, he might say, listen, guys, you know what, I know that we have discussed this, but I still believe this thing must happen. Let us vote, you know. And maybe if they vote, and then obviously a lot of people, you know, might want to be on the side of Mr. Malema. And guys, you also need to understand, you remember that the statement that Mr. Malema said when he was, I think he was addressing a Galatina, or I don't know, I think it was a AFF Galatina or something. He actually said that if anyone challenges him, he will deal with them. Okay? He even mentioned that since Floyd, he was his deputy, he did say that if Floyd challenges me, what this. Sometimes when you make statements like that, guys, it traps people. It makes people not to be free. It makes people not to express themselves. If you make statements that trap people, just like in churches, you know, if you don't do this, then this will happen. If you don't do this, then this will happen. Yeah, this. They will make you to feel like you are trapped. Okay, no, not to are trapped. They will make you they will trap you with words. Every time you don't want to do something, you will think of them. If I don't do this and this and this. I think that sometimes other people, they use some sentences, and I think they use them intentionally so that they can trap other people, even though it's not intentionally. Maybe it's just a speech or anything, but sometimes it does trap people. Okay? But I don't believe that when it comes to decisions of the party, of the EFF, I don't think he's a dictator, you know? But when it comes to the presidency of the EFF, maybe, you know, somehow people, they felt like they were trapped because they can't challenge him. They can't, you know, and because of the things he said. I'm just saying, okay? Let's go and continue with the...
I mean, Tembago. There are a lot of political parties, IFP.
Exactly.
Those people are not called dictators, but Julius Malema is getting that dictator tag. You understand?
The Patriotic Alliance.
Yes, Jacob Zuma is off the hinges. He's not even called a dictator. But I'm just giving an example of just how Julius Malema, even though he works hard to be, and I'll do a podcast talking about the flaws of Julius Malema. I've got it planned. Julius Malema is one of the most hated people. He's one of the most polarizing figures.
I think the only party that I can say there is not dictatorship, it's ANC. Because we've seen people speaking out of 10, others they speak against each other, others they don't agree with what is happening, others they... Now, over there in the ANC, I can tell you guys, you cannot say there's a dictatorship. That is why you find Cyril Ramaphosa, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, will be consulting every time when he's supposed to make decisions, because they depend on consulting. You can't just make the decisions alone, you know. So the ANC, I don't think there is a dictatorship. When it comes to the IFP, people, they might say, guys, remember, being a dictator, it is when you make decisions alone. You are not challenged. You decide on your own. You don't consult, okay? Do you think in the IFP that was happening? I don't think so. Now, people, they make a party, they call a party or a person a dictator because maybe the person in the party has been the president for some time. I don't think that's a right, actually. I'm not sure, but I don't think that's a right description, okay? For me, I describe, according to the definition, a dictator as a person who every time they make decisions alone, okay? So I don't think that in South Africa, we have a dictator. Why? Because in these parties, because the IFP, I don't think they do that without the president makes decisions without consulting. The ANC, it doesn't do that. I don't think we can claim that. In the EFF, well, I don't think so, because I don't think when they make decisions, Mama Lima, they just go and make your decision and then they leave him. He consult. Also in the MK party, man, guys, is still new. But I think when it comes to the MK party, I don't also think that Jacob Zuma is a dictator. But I think maybe if they allow him to do what he wants, it will be maybe out of sort of respect, okay? Because maybe they respect him as a politician. Because we've all called Mr. Zuma, you know, a very smart person when it comes to politics, okay? We've all seen that, guys. This guy has been duck and diving for all these years. No one is getting him, you know? And I think that when it comes to Mr. Zuma, in the MK, I don't know, guys, you know, I don't want to call him a dictator because I don't have a proof that, but I think he consults. Do you think that when he makes a decision, he just says, do this, to do that? I don't think so. The question now would be, the people around the party, okay, are they asking questions? Now, if you are in a party, this is just my opinion, remember, if you are in a party, guys, and you have a president, and then a president comes up with an idea or maybe a suggestion, and then a person comes and says, no, I don't agree with that because of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then maybe you end up debating on it. And then the same person who is a president, then after the debate or after the argument, and then he has a problem with you, he starts talking bad about you, he starts sidelining you and everything. And then I will call you a dictator because you don't want to be told what to do. Okay? And so I don't know, because guys, when people are in the meetings, we don't know what is happening, okay? But according to the definition, a dictator is somebody who makes a decision, a president or somebody who is a leader in that party who makes decisions without being challenged. That means if he makes a decision, he doesn't need your opinion, he doesn't need your input, he just makes a decision. He doesn't even invite you, he just say, I decided this thing, you can go and jump into the sea. This is my decision. Then that is a person who is a dictator, you know? So, I don't know, guys, what do you think about that? And also, what do you think about the black people not liking Pan-African, not liking unity, you know? And please, guys, don't be naive and think that, yeah, no, you guys, you don't want the black people to come together. Trust me, we do want to say that, you know? But you know that there are people who will push back, and they will push back very hard, and they will be supported, and they will be funded. That is why you see all these things that are happening. In the elections, we had how many parties? So-called black parties. A lot of them. You ask yourself, why don't they come together? Why don't they come together and form a one party and become play? It is because of we will never have that, because people could have got differences even in their cultures. I am Zulu, I'm Sotho, I'm Venda, I'm what. No, I can't be associated with you. No, you can't come to our party. This is our party. You know, those are the things that makes us not to come together, and it's a reality, unfortunately. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you liked the video. Please like, share, subscribe. You can also share. Well, you can share if you want, but if you don't want to share, it's okay, you know. And all of that, guys, I appreciate you guys, and you have a good day. Sharp, sharp, perfect.